Tonight on Remote Cabin Radio, we take you deep into the haunting wilderness of Idaho, where the shadows are long and the mysteries are even longer. Imagine a night beneath the full moon, where the wind whispers ancient secrets through the trees, and the past is never truly at rest. We journey to a forgotten cemetery on the edge of the Caribou-Targhee National Forest, a place where history, legend, and terror collide. Here, among the silent tombstones and darkened woods, a young girl's curiosity led her face to face with something far beyond the realm of human understanding. Was it a wild beast, a creature of myth, or something even more terrifying? As the night unfolds, prepare yourself for a story that will chill you to your core. Because once you hear what lurks in the shadows of Idaho Falls, you'll never look at the wilderness the same way again. This is Remote Cabin Radio, where history and mystery come alive. Nestled in the rugged terrain of southeastern Idaho, the Caribou-Targhee National Forest stands as a testament to the wild, untamed beauty of the American West. Spanning over 3 million acres, this forest straddles the borders of Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah, offering a sanctuary for both wildlife and the souls who venture into its depths. Established in 1907 by President Theodore Roosevelt, the forest was part of the larger movement to conserve America's wilderness, a movement that sought to protect these vast lands from the encroaching hands of industrialization. But the Caribou-Targhee is more than just a swath of preserved wilderness. It is a place steeped in history, legend, and mystery. The Shoshone-Bannock tribes, who once roamed these lands long before European settlers arrived, speak of spirits and creatures that inhabit the dense forests and towering mountains. Among their stories are tales of the Old Ones, beings of great power who are said to guard the sacred spaces within the forest. Some believe these entities still watch over the land, their presence felt in the whispers of the wind through the trees and the eerie stillness that can fall over the forest at dusk. In more recent times, the Caribou-Targhee has been the backdrop for countless unexplained sightings and encounters. Hikers and campers have reported glimpses of shadowy figures moving between the trees, strange lights in the night sky, and the unsettling feeling of being watched. Sasquatch, the elusive creature of North American folklore, is said to roam these woods, leaving behind massive footprints and the occasional terrified witness. But among the various cryptids rumored to inhabit the region, there is one that stands out for its sheer terror: the Dogman. It was in this atmosphere of mystery and ancient legend that Angela, a 16-year-old girl from Idaho Falls, found herself on a fateful night in 1986. Idaho Falls, though a small city, is surrounded by vast wilderness, with the Caribou-Targhee National Forest to the east, its dark expanse a mere stone's throw from civilization. Angela, along with her friends Elle and B, decided one night to explore a local cemetery, an old burial ground where the whispers of the dead mingle with the rustling of the wind through the trees. They were on a quest, a youthful adventure to find two infamous graves, the Knocking Grave and the Werewolf Grave. The cemetery was a place of quiet reflection by day, but by night it transformed into something altogether more sinister. The Knocking Grave was easy to find, a loose board that vibrated back when knocked upon, an unsettling reminder of the thin veil between life and death. But the Werewolf Grave eluded them, remaining just a myth, a story to spook one another with. As the night wore on, the trio returned to their car, the excitement of the search fading into the quiet of the cemetery. Elle and B, a young couple, decided they wanted some time alone, leaving Angela to her own devices. The night was clear, the full moon casting a silvery light over the gravestones, the perfect setting for something out of a horror story. Angela wandered among the tombstones, lost in her thoughts about the people buried beneath them, lives lived and then forgotten. It was then that she heard it, a strange sound coming from the direction of a mausoleum. It was a crunching noise, the sound of something being torn apart. The air around her grew unnaturally still, the usual background noise of the city fading away, as if the world itself was holding its breath. Curiosity, that ever-dangerous impulse, pulled her toward the source of the sound. As she approached, she saw it, a massive black silhouette crouched over something just 25 feet away. The creature was unlike anything she had ever seen. At first, it looked like a giant wolf, its front legs and torso abnormally large, its back legs equally powerful. But there was something wrong, something unnatural about its shape. Angela's eyes had adjusted to the darkness, the moonlight providing just enough illumination for her to see the creature in detail. Its fur was dark, with streaks of brown running through it, its head large with pointed ears tipped with tufts of fur. It was eating something, the crunching noise coming from the bones it was methodically breaking apart with its powerful jaws. For a moment, Angela felt a thrill of excitement. She had always loved wolves, and here was one, seemingly wild and free, right in front of her. But as she watched, a realization dawned. This was no ordinary wolf. The creature moved with an intelligence, a purpose that sent a chill down her spine. The zoo nearby didn't have wolves, and even if it did, this thing was far too large, too unnatural. She shifted her weight, the smallest of movements, but it was enough. The creature froze, its head snapping up to look directly at her. Angela's heart stopped as she locked eyes with it. In that moment, she knew she had made a terrible mistake. The creature slowly rose onto its hind legs, standing upright like a man. But its form was monstrous. Its muscles bulged beneath its fur, its chest broad and powerful, its arms long, with hands that ended in claws rather than fingers. The creature's eyes glowed with an eerie orange-gold light, seeming to bore into her very soul. It bared its teeth in a grin that was anything but friendly. The sharp, yellowed fangs meant for tearing flesh. Angela was rooted to the spot, her mind screaming at her to run, but her body refusing to move. The creature made no move toward her, simply continuing to eat whatever unfortunate animal it had caught, all the while keeping its eyes locked on her. It was toying with her, letting her know that if it wanted to, it could end her life in an instant. Finally, the spell broke. Angela turned and ran, the primal instinct for survival overriding everything else. She sprinted back to the car, the image of those glowing eyes and that terrifying grin burned into her memory. She reached the car, flung open the door, and screamed at B to start the engine. The look on her face was enough to convince him to do as she said, and they sped out of the cemetery, leaving the creature behind. Angela never returned to that cemetery, and for years she kept the encounter to herself. When she finally told Elle and B what she had seen, they laughed, dismissing it as an overactive imagination. But Angela knew what she had seen. The creature that stalked the cemetery that night was no figment of her imagination. It was real, and it was dangerous. The forests and wild places of Idaho are ancient. Their histories woven with tales of creatures that defy explanation. The Dogman, the Sasquatch, and the spirits of the Shoshone-Bannock tribes are all part of the tapestry of this land, reminders that the wilderness still holds secrets, waiting in the shadows, just beyond the reach of civilization. And sometimes those secrets step out of the shadows and into the moonlight, revealing themselves to those who dare to look too closely. As we draw this episode to a close, the chilling tale of Angela's encounter leaves us with more questions than answers. The eerie presence of the Dogman in the shadowy corners of Idaho Falls history reminds us that some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved, lurking just beyond the edge of our understanding. As night falls and the fog creeps in, remember, the wilderness holds secrets that may never be fully revealed. Stay tuned to Remote Cabin Radio for more spine-tingling stories and unexplained phenomena. Until next time, stay vigilant and keep exploring the unknown.